Hip-hop fans are shocked. Jim Jones, a well-known rapper from Harlem, has just been arrested by the FBI. This wasn't a random arrest. It was a sting operation that had been in the works for months. The reason? A leaked video that no one saw coming. It exposed shady business deals and conversations, raising serious questions about what Jim had been up to. As the video spreads across the internet, fans are left wondering, what was Jim hiding? Who leaked the tape? And what made the FBI act so fast? This isn't just about one arrest, it's a scandal that could destroy Jim Jones's entire career. People close to the case say this was a detailed operation. The FBI had been watching him for a long time. Now everyone is asking the same question. Was he framed, or was he really running an illegal business on the side? Celebrities are reacting, some showing support, others staying silent. Meanwhile, the story keeps getting stranger. Jim has always been known for balancing his music career with business moves. He was respected in the industry, not just as a rapper, but as a smart hustler who made strong connections. But this time, it looks like he got too close to something dangerous. This wasn't a fake internet rumor or a made-up feud. This was the real deal. When news broke that Jim had been caught in an FBI operation, it went viral instantly. And the charges? They're not minor. He's looking at serious time for conspiracy, financial crimes, and other illegal activity. Whispers had already been floating around for months that Jim was involved in a secret project. People close to him noticed he was acting different. He started meeting unknown people and behaving more cautiously. Then, the video surfaced. It wasn't supposed to. In it, Jim is seen in a quiet New York club talking to men already under FBI watch. These men weren't rappers or music executives. They were known for underground operations. The conversation in the video was muffled, but certain words stood out. Money transfers, quiet deals, coded language. At first, fans thought it had to be fake. Jim was known as someone smart enough to stay out of big trouble, but law enforcement later confirmed the video was part of a larger investigation. Jim wasn't just caught on tape. He was one of the key players. The FBI had been tracking him for a long time. They tapped his phone, watched his moves, and even convinced people from his circle to cooperate. These insiders recorded every deal and interaction. What they uncovered was a wide web of shady deals and connections to people already being investigated. When the leaked footage came out, it gave the feds exactly what they needed. Jim didn't see it coming. That night, he was out at a high-end lounge after a private event, celebrating a big win. But while he enjoyed his evening, black SUVs waited outside. Witnesses say federal agents were already stationed around the club, ready to move. As soon as Jim stepped outside, it all happened fast. Sirens, flashing lights, and armed agents blocking every exit. He was pinned to a car, handcuffed, and arrested before he could react. His bodyguards tried to stop it, but they didn't stand a chance. The crowd pulled out their phones, and within minutes, videos of the arrest were everywhere online. One of hip-hop's most recognized names was now being taken away in cuffs. Fans were confused and angry. This has to be fake, many said. Jim would never do this. He's being set up. But official statements confirmed it. He was charged with federal crimes and under arrest. A witness even claimed Jim said, right before being taken away, "Are you really doing this here? I'm not saying anything." But it was already too late. Inside the SUV, Jim sat with his hands cuffed behind him, the metal biting into his wrists. He realized this wasn't just a misunderstanding. This wasn't something he could fix with a few phone calls. This was serious. As the car drove through the city, he thought about everything. How it went wrong, who betrayed him, and how this could all fall apart. Meanwhile, online chaos broke out. His name was trending, fans were searching for answers, and his team was likely scrambling to manage the damage. But this wasn't the kind of story that could be contained. By the time the vehicle arrived at the federal facility, agents were already waiting. They yanked Jim out, his designer jacket now wrinkled from the arrest. Cameras flashed, but Jim stayed quiet. He was processed quickly. Photos, fingerprints, paperwork, everything was handled with cold efficiency. Then he was taken to an interrogation room. The space was bare and cold. A metal table sat in the middle with two chairs facing each other. Harsh lighting created deep shadows on his face. He waited alone for a while. No lawyer, no explanation, just silence. Eventually, two agents walked in. One sat down and opened a thick file. The other stood near the door. "James Jones," the seated agent said. "You know why you're here." Jim didn't answer. He knew better than to speak without a lawyer. The agent slid a photo across the table. It was a frame from the leaked tape. "Jim, deep in conversation with the men now labeled as serious criminals. We have you on video," the agent said. "And we've been watching for months. This is bigger than you think." Jim didn't flinch. "You've got it wrong," he replied calmly. The agent smirked and pulled out another document. "This came from someone close to you," he said. "They told us everything." Jim's heart raced, but he stayed silent. Someone in his circle had flipped. Someone he trusted had betrayed him. Jim's lawyer's expression grew grim as they discussed his situation. It wasn't just about defending against accusations anymore. It was about survival. In the world Jim lived in, betrayal wasn't just a legal issue. It could be a death sentence. As the lawyer spoke, Jim sat motionless, his mind racing. This was bad, really bad. He had dealt with smaller accusations before, but this was on a different level. It wasn't just a regular crime, it was federal, and it involved someone close to him. Jim tried to focus on the facts. Who had betrayed him? Who had set him up? He trusted his crew, but even the most loyal could be swayed by money or fear. His lawyer gave him two choices: stay quiet, prepare for a tough fight, or cooperate and make a deal to protect himself. Jim firmly said, "I don't snitch." The lawyer nodded, preparing for a long fight ahead. Before they could say more, a guard entered and told Jim his time was up. The lawyer gathered his things, gave him a stern warning to stay quiet, and left. Jim was escorted to a small, cold holding cell, where the weight of the situation hit him. He leaned against the wall, his mind racing with questions. Who could have turned on him? His thoughts were interrupted by a loud commotion. A series of slamming doors and running prisoners. The sound of footsteps approaching his cell made his heart race. A guard signaled him to come forward. When the door opened, he was told he had guests. Confused, Jim was led to a separate room where a glass partition divided him from the visitors. Chrissy sat on the other side, arms. Jim's stomach tightened. Despite all his street experience, nothing made him more uneasy than facing her. Chrissy's gaze was intense as she picked up the phone. After a moment of hesitation, Jim answered. "What's going on?" he asked, his voice quiet. Before he could say more, Chrissy cut in. "I wake up to news reports, social media posts, and my phone blowing up. I have to come here and see you through glass?" Jim sighed, massaging his temples. "It's complicated," he muttered. Chrissy didn't hold back. "You were caught in some major illegal dealings. Everyone's talking about the video they saw of you at that shady meeting. What were you thinking?" Jim winced. He knew the video looked bad. "It's not what it looks like," he said, but the words didn't sound convincing even to him. Chrissy didn't seem satisfied. "Are you even aware of how serious this is? Federal charges? People don't just get out of this." Her voice softened. "Is this the end of everything?" Jim couldn't answer her question. Before he could, a guard interrupted, announcing that time was up. Chrissy stood up, shaking her head. "I don't know what to say to you right now," she muttered, clearly frustrated. As she walked away, she added, "Maybe you should learn to suppress it, like I have." Once the phone call ended, Jim sat alone, holding the receiver. His world felt like it was falling apart, and he wasn't sure if he could put it back together. The weight of the federal case was beginning to sink in, but as he sat there, thinking about what Chrissy had said, another guard arrived. It was time for more questioning. Jim was led back to the interrogation room, his nerves on edge. He knew this wouldn't be an ordinary round of questioning. The federal agent sitting at the table had a thick stack of papers in front of him. Jim took a seat and stayed quiet, but his stomach twisted with anticipation. The agent didn't waste time. "We need to talk about a lot, Jim." His calm tone did nothing to ease Jim's tension. Jim responded, "I don't know what you're talking about." The agent continued, "We've been watching you for a long time. Every phone call, every meeting, every business transaction, whether legal or not. We know everything." Jim stayed silent, trying to keep his cool. The agent leaned closer. "You can keep pretending this is just another accusation you can shrug off, but let me make it clear. You're on our tapes. We have witnesses who were there, and trust me, those people won't have your back the way you think." A cold knot formed in Jim's stomach, but he didn't show it. The agent leaned back in his chair. "Here's the deal, Jim. You cooperate, give us something bigger, and we might cut you a break." Jim's expression remained neutral. "I don't snitch," he said firmly. The agent sighed. "In that case, I hope you enjoy your orange jumpsuit. You'll be wearing it for a long time." At that moment, another officer entered and declared, "Time's up." Jim was dragged back to his cell, his mind racing. It felt different this time. The weight of the situation was beginning to settle in. There was no easy way out. Hours passed, but it felt like time was stretching. Then out of nowhere, a loud disturbance broke the silence. Loud steps and keys clanging. Jim's senses sharpened. A guard arrived, ordering him to get up. Confused, Jim followed him down the hall. When they reached the back of the facility, Jim was stunned to see a SUV waiting. The door opened and his lawyer, someone he'd never seen before, motioned for him to get in. "What's going on?" Jim asked, but the lawyer was out of breath. "You've got friends in high places," the lawyer said. "Someone pulled some serious strings to get you out." Jim's mind was spinning. "Who?" he demanded. The lawyer told him to stay quiet. "The feds aren't done with you. This isn't over." Jim clenched his fists, unsure if he had just entered a more dangerous game or if he'd been saved from a worse fate. The questions were mounting, and the answers were nowhere in sight. As the news about Jim's arrest and the FBI operation spread, fans were left shocked. The FBI had gathered substantial evidence, and the stakes were higher than ever. The truth, however, was still unclear. Who betrayed Jim? The question lingered as the case continued to unfold. Will Jim fight back or be defeated by these accusations? The drama surrounding him would no doubt continue to make headlines.